Questions are already shared with you.
Okay, in question, let me see. What are the disadvantages of using generics? The major disadvantage, this question is from Sohail Somani. So the major disadvantage that you can say for generic is basically difficulty in coding and understanding. So it's not very developer friendly. But once you practice it, I think it's the best way of doing coding. If you are using some of the collections with generics, you must have realized this. Who will take care of fork and join pool management by system, or we have to take care while implementation? For fork and join pool, you need not to do any programming for managing them. This is through, you can say, the stealing algorithm automatically. What is the difference between database connection pool and fork join? Nilay Kandhar. The very simple difference you can say is database connection pool is to maintain the connections, whereas fork join is basically for maintaining the threads and distributing the work among the multiple processor, because distributing is of work or task along the processor is was a big pain for developers till Java 6. So in Java 7, this is basically much easier to distribute the task among the processor, and basically that will be managed by fork join pool automatically. In there is a question from Chintan Shah. In the example showing the throws clause with the specific exceptions, if there is a first exception in the try block, that will happen. What will happen? Will the exception will be handled by the catch exception block, or will it be thrown by the method of the caller? Just a minute. Definitely it will be handled by the catch exception, but if you are throwing it back through the catch exception, you can throw it specifically for the first exception. Chintan. Amar Barak, basically he has asked that, Hemant, please do explain about IONet features, SCTP and SDP of Java. Actually, what I can say is this was actually not part of this session, but still I will try to explain in a small sentence. SCTP is basically, you can say it's in computer networking. The stream SCTP full form is the Stream Control Transmission Protocol, and is a transport layer protocol serving in a similar role as similar to the TCP or the UDP, and it gives the benefit of the both of the words. It provides some of the same services features, like it is message oriented similar to the UDP, and also it ensures the reliability and sequencing of the transport TCP messaging. So this is basically a better option for reliable and message oriented communication. And in SDP, it is basically a socket direct protocol, I suppose. Socket direct protocol. How to explain it? It's very simple to understand that it actually provides, if you have heard about remote direct memory access in the TCP protocol. You can say the goal is to do this in a manner which is transparent to the application. Basically, it uses streams to invoke or use memory somewhere on the server side directly, without directly or very transparently. Is there any difference relationship between auto closable and closable? This is by Gaurav Deshpande. Auto closable is basically in Lang, Java Lang. This is an interface, and closable actually extends the auto closable interface, and closable is in java.io. So similarly, for the network, you can have a similar sort of interface extending auto closable, and if you are implementing JDBC, you can again extend the auto closable interface and create your JDBC closable. So JDBC 4.1 will now have those sort of interfaces and implementation classes that will close connections, statements, and all this automatically. Then Amar Barik again, is it possible to run JDK 7 compiled code in JRE 6? Although I haven't tried, but I suppose it's not possible because the bytecode generation has been changed. The way the bytecode is generated and some new bytecode enhancements has been introduced in JDK 7. Ratan Tripathi. If we wish to use less or more processor count than actually available in system with fork and join. I haven't tried it, and I haven't gone in detail of the methods available, but I suppose this is an automatically managed pool. So maybe in future there might be some control. Then Suresh, you said instead of multiple if cases, if we use switch case, what's new in that? Before Java 7 we have switch case now. Switch case with Java 7 now allows strings. Before Java 7 it only allows int, char, etc. So in Java 7 now you can switch on strings. Before Java 7 it was not allowed. It was not available actually. Chaitanya, what if I have to perform different corrective actions for different exception thrown? I guess the Java 7 feature will not help. Actually, the throwing of multiple exceptions or handling of multiple exception only works in the same hierarchy. Somehow those exceptions should be related in either super or subclass form. Another question is, what if our application using fork join framework on uniprocessor platform? Just a minute. There are a lot of questions. I have a question. When catch will handle multiple exception, then how would we identify which exception has been caught? I think there was some method mentioned over there to get those suppressed exceptions. There are some questions that are unrelated to this session, so I am not taking those questions. What if our application, this is from Saurabh Gupta, what if our application using fork join framework on uniprocessor platform, performance degradation? On a uniprocessor platform, if we are using fork join or if we are not using fork join, I think there will not be any difference as far as performance is related, because otherwise also on a uniprocessor the task has to be performed in sequence, and with fork join also it will be performed in sequence, the sequence of tasks that is maintained in the queue. So I think I have done with most of the questions. Is it possible to run this? I have already. So I think seems that we have done.
There are a few more questions. If you can expand that window, you'll find other questions.
Let's see. Can you give me the real world scenario for fork and join feature? Basically, a real world scenario. Okay. What you can do is, suppose you have to handle multiple network streams coming from different sources and distributing it to many clients. Say there are 4 or 5 input streams and you are distributing them to 500 clients. So there must be a lot of threads working simultaneously. Definitely you should go for fork and join in such kind of situation. If you do it without fork and join, I think you have to manage the processor and other resources within your program manually, and you will be basically struggling with processor management. With fork and join, that will be automatically through the stealing algorithm. Then Hmm. Do you have any stats on the improvement in size and performance using Java 7? I think I haven't seen or I haven't Googled it to find. So I think you must get some figures on net. I actually haven't completed any of the performance testing because there are a lot of areas in Java where the performance affect. Transfer queue and linked transfer queue. Please do explain about transfer queue is basically interface and linked transfer queue is its implementation. In the catch block with syntax catch expression 1, expression 2, what is the order of it? Do we need to keep the more generalized exception at the end? No. You can keep exception in any order, I suppose. What if our application, this is from Saurabh, if our application, sorry, this has been done already. From Chaitanya, what if I have to perform different corrective actions for different exceptions thrown? I guess the Java 7 feature will not help. Different corrective action, if you want to perform different corrective action on different exceptions, then you need to catch them separately and provide your code. But if you just want to log it, you can log and read through it. That where at this situation Java 7 will help. Is it always better to use switch cases instead of if clause? Tausif, from Tausif. Definitely, it's always better to use switch case if the problem area basically can be easily molded to switch case. You should go for switch case because the better bytecode gets generated with better performance. Always, you should avoid if. Use switch. Amar, I am not actually understanding the question. You have written if Java 7 allows string and object as case, then is it possible to use any objects as a case? Actually, there is a method toString override overridden in always overridden because it's available in object class. If you have overridden that method, or even if you have not overridden that method, the toString gets called on object, and there won't be I suppose there won't be any error, and you can use uh, that particular statement in switch case, but it will not help in your different switch cases in different cases. And if you are cases supporting those things, then it's fine. In binary literal, int n is equal to 0, b, 1, 2, 3, 4, then how it will be interpreted? I suppose the compiler should give some error. And even if you are using Eclipse or NetBeans, they will show you red underlined. Catch block can handle multiple exceptions if we specify only word exception or throwable instead of writing a particular exception class. Is it right? Actually, exception and throwable is the root class where exception extends it. So they are the basically root classes of all the exceptions. You can always catch exceptions in these, but if you want to handle a different exception in a different manner, or if you want to know about the caused exception, which causes the exception, so it's always better to handle different exceptions, because handling of exceptions may be different for different exceptions. Gaurav, as we need to have compile time constants for the cases in switch, can the string objects instead of literals or any other objects be used directly? This is what, Gaurav, what I understand is you want to put string objects in the case. So I don't think it will be allowed. Surely it will not be allowed. It will not compile.
We have taken most of the questions, so now we can conclude the session.
Okay. So I suppose we have taken most of the questions, and this is I think there were some really good questions over here. So thanks everyone. Yeah, have a nice day.
Thanks, Mr. Hemant, for your informative session on productive language enhancements for developers. It was indeed an enlightening session. I would also like to thank our participants for making this webinar a huge success. The recording of this webinar will be available on techgeek.com by tomorrow. Gentlemen, this January, TechGeek is conducting a webinar series on IP telephony and VoIP. The first session in this series is happening today, 5 p.m. Topic for today's session is Deep Packet Inspection to tackle insatiable demand for additional bandwidth. We'll be having Mr. Murli, Product Manager at HCL Technologies, as our guest speaker today. So see you all today at 5 p.m. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.